you, Mr. Chairman. Director, thank you for coming here. Kind of a tough hearing. I got to tell you, I'm going to jump on, and you'll forgive me for that. Before that, though, I'll tell you, I recognize that you and most of the agents that serve under you are honorable. They're driven by love for country, and they're trying to do the right thing. But leadership is taking care of not the good people in some cases, it's taking care of the problems. And you have enormous problems ahead of you in my case, or in my opinion, and some of that has been talked about. And I got to tell you, as a former military guy, I'm stunned by this environment and this culture, and I'll elaborate on that in just a minute. But I think there's two problems here. One of them is this. We have this behavior of drinking and driving and kind of carousing around, and there's lots of examples of it. I mean, I've got 3 pages here that I could go through. I kind of get that. I understand that a little bit. That happens. That's troubling, but it happens. We have to deal with it, as we've talked about. But I think a greater problem to me is the fact that there was an officer who was aware of this, or many officers, at least one, who was aware of this and took steps to protect their friends rather than to hold them accountable. I mean, if anyone is aware of this and they didn't tell you, they have lost your trust. How could you ever trust them again? You may not be able to fire them, but you should assign them to the furthest tip of the Aleutian Islands, in my opinion, because they have lost your trust and the trust of the American people. And they have shown loyalty to their friends and coworkers rather than loyalty to their responsibilities. And I don't know how you say it any differently than that. Again, I was a military member for many years. And I hear you say, well, you know, people are coping with stress. And I got to say, I kind of go, please, oh, please. Because lots of people experience stress. And this is a stressful job, but there's lots of stressful jobs in the world. And the military members experience acute stress. And they would never protect nor sanction the behavior such as this. And I can give you many examples. From young airmen to new lieutenants to senior colonels, in some cases generals, who were caught DUI on base and they were just gone. You know, they were dismissed. And we knew that. And the military was better because we knew that was the rule. And we knew that we would be held accountable for that. And the American people were better, and our nation was better protected because we had a culture that we simply don't entertain this. And for someone to have done that and then to have one of their peers or a supervisor protect them, it's hard for me to imagine that would happen. You know, in our cases, we were dealing with top secret information, many of us, as are you and your agents. The most highly classified information that this nation has, they have access to. And the accountability just simply isn't measuring up to the responsibility that they have. And I guess I would ask you to respond to that, but I don't know what else you could say other than what you've already said here, except for you know, this idea of changing a culture. You said, Mr. Director, and I understand what you're trying to do, I really do, but when you say, I have to set the example, I have to earn their trust, dude, you don't have to earn their trust, you're their boss, they're supposed to earn your trust, and they haven't earned your trust. And the way you earn their trust is you hold them accountable. And then the others who aren't out there driving through barricades and laying drunk in corridors of hotels in overseas locations, those guys know that they're going to be held accountable. That's how trust is developed, in my opinion. So, I mean, I've gone on for a while, and I'm not berating you. I'm berating this culture that's been fostered there. And if you'd like to respond, you know, please do.
Thank you, sir. We have had incidents, obviously, in the past, and previous directors have, after due process, have moved these people off the job. They're gone. Cartagena is an example where I believe we lost 10 people. They were terminated. So there is an indication that, or there's a history where we will discipline people. But again, I cannot do this on day one. I am frustrated that the agency is taking this hit, and rightfully so, but I have to allow this due process to take place, and then that'll be our first test and our first indication of, are we serious about holding people accountable? Maybe it's as bad as it may be to say this, maybe it's good that it happened early in my tenure, so that we can set a tone as we move forward. But, sir, I can't say any more than that.
Well, and I appreciate that. And in one sense, you're right, with an irony. It may be good that this happened early in your tenure, because you have the opportunity now to truly lead and to truly show what your expectations are of these agents. And in my last few seconds, let me just say again, I recognize most of these agents are good people who are trying to do a very difficult job and to do it very well. But the ability and the willingness of some of them to protect one another like they've done, instead of being loyal to the oath that they've taken, it's hard for me to respond to that. It's so foreign to my experience.
Yes, sir, and I honor that, and I think the workforce is listening to this testimony today, and I think a message is being broadcast loud and clear that that's not acceptable.
Yeah, thank you, Director.
Thank you, sir.